All right, welcome back. So we're going to look at automation, and we're going to do some basic mix automation. And then keep in mind, you can also automate macros. I probably won't show that today because macros is really an unfinished feature, still a little rough around the edges. So if you get a chance, write to AKAI through their feature suggestion and ask them to to keep on working on it, and maybe we'll see a more fuller implementation in future firmware updates. Okay, so I've got a basic song here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to automate some drums first. So if we just go into here and hit mix, and I'm going to find the actual drum track. So I'll just go into here, hit main, and we'll just hit deluxe fat. And it's going to take me directly to the particular channel that I want to automate. But this time I really want to automate not just the drum track itself, but a particular instrument within the drum track. So it's important to understand that you can actually do that. We're going to go into the layer, the mix layer of the actual key group instrument itself. So by double tapping mix. Now, as you can see, as I hit the pad, I can directly make the particular pad within the instrument actually select on the mix page. So at this point, we're looking at only the mixer for the drum pad instrument. So we're going to automate the snare, just for an example. So when you write automation, so this is video really is more aimed for people that are just starting out the MPC. If you're going to write automation, we're not actually recording it in with the transport like you might think. We're just going to write it in using the automation button. So therefore, we're not really recording anything with the transport again. And so by having it read like this, it's going to tell you whatever you do in terms of MIDI control change. A lot of people refer to it as MIDI CC. You can actually write that information on the particular track or tracks, if you will. So for example, this snare, I'm going to automate it by adjusting the volume. So if I hit play, so right at this point, I hit stop. I've just written some automation, and that's control change, I believe is 007 for volume. MIDI volume, that is. So by deselecting automation write, we're now automation read. So we're reading whatever we just wrote previously. So if I press play, okay, and so actually what's happening is every time you write automation, whether it's modulation, volume, mute solos, panning left and right, the MPC is actually going to start keeping a log of all the different automations that you do. So it does take some planning. And typically automation, because at the mix level of what we're doing right now, typically you wouldn't write any automation until you get your final sequence where it's all sort of sussed out in more of a linear form or a complete form, because the track, the actual sequences or multiple sequences still have to correspond to one unified mixer. So the automation that you write takes place at the mixer level as opposed to the actual sequence level. And so any automation that you do on any particular sequence is going to also reflect on other sequences when it comes to the mixer. So typically you're going to do this in the final stages as opposed to the pre-production stages. So now, if I press play again and put automation write mode, I can go in here, for example, and I can press play. So what I basically did was wrote some automation in terms of muting the kick drum specifically. So watch it mute. So one way of looking, one of a couple ways of looking at what, as far as the automation goes, if we can go into erase, so we can kill two birds with one stone. And I'm going to hit automation here. And now you can see when I hit all and go and select, it shows any kind of information that I have in the actual sequence of automation. So we have track mute and we have pad mute. And we can go and erase them all at one time, or we can erase one or another. And this is relative to the actual track. So in this particular example, we're just doing the drum track alone. So let's go into here and we'll go erase all of it. And we'll say do it. Now what will happen is whatever last status that you were in, it's just going to leave it where it was last at. So for example, the snare, the level was lower and it didn't snap back to 0 because we took all the automation out. And so we'll just bring it back to roughly where it was at. But now if I press play, there's no automation anymore. Now it's important to understand that you can actually automate multiple things at a time. So in this example, we're going to go into the multiple tracks. So let's say I want to automate the drum track and the bass. So if I hit shift, select one track, and I select another track, it's going to allow me to not only control relative, almost like a subgroup, in the way you would treat like a VCA. But it's going to allow me to automate two tracks at a time. So I'm going to hit automate, press play. And you can watch, let's go back off of this. So we can watch the faders both go up and down. Now, lastly, it's important to remember while you can record multiple automations at one time from different tracks, as far as erasing them, you're going to have to actually erase them one track at a time. So if I go into here and I erase just on the bass, and let's just go pull this up at a regular level. Now if I hit erase, you can see the track that I'm on right here. And I can go to erase the automation, and I'll erase all. And so now you're just going to see the drum track. As you can see, so if I really want to erase automation on the drum track, I hit erase, and I can select the drum track, which is called Deluxe Fat. And I hit the automation, and I just hit erase. And now I'm back to no automation. But as you can see, I had to automate, or I had to erase the automation one track at a time. In other words, I can't highlight both of these like I did before and then erase multiple things at one time. I just can't do that, at least not that I know of yet. So again, if you want that feature implemented, which I'm sure could be done, just write back to AKAI as a feature suggestion. So anyway, hopefully this information has helped you out. And until next time, everyone, peace out.